Now, my best case scenario is a guy who also just so happens to come from the Kansas City Chiefs. And again, this is not because I love the team. It's just because the team is just that darn good. It is Clyde EdwardsHelaire. Now, we're talking about second round guys, but if people are smart, he may be someone who could actually go earlier in the first round. Now, the reason why I love Clyde, especially in this Chiefs offense, he is a 3-down back who can catch 90-plus passes out of the backfield while also rushing for hundreds of yards. Now, another thing that is in his favor is that Damian Williams has opted out of this upcoming season due to concerns over COVID-19. Now, what this means is he is going to get all of the offensive production for the Kansas City Chiefs at the running back position. Now, Patrick Mahomes, I talked about him earlier. In the 29 game starts that Patrick Mahomes has had since 2018, 39 of those touchdowns have gone to running back. So what does that mean for Clyde EdwardsHelaire? He is going to get all of the juice and all of the fun, and you want every single part of that as a fantasy owner. So he went from the best quarterback in college football in Joe Burrow to now arguably the best quarterback in the NFL in Patrick Mahomes. So all eyes are on Clyde EdwardsHelaire.
Well, I'm going to go and pump up Kenyan Drake. And we heard Cynthia talk about him in the first segment of this show. And I completely agree that this is the guy who has the potential to be a league winner. When he got to Arizona last season, he immediately took over the majority of the backfield snaps, played about 80% of the snaps with the Cardinals last season. There's no competition back there. Chase Edmonds is strictly a backup for this Cardinals offense. In this up-tempo attack that Cliff Kingsbury has put together, chance for 300 touches, 50 to 60 catches, and had been going in the first round. I think CEH has sort of bumped him down to that early second, in which case that might be a little bit of a discount.
You know what, Marcus? It's funny because I see Clyde EdwardsHelaire, I see Kenyan Drake as first-round guys, I see Josh Jacobs as a first-round guy. So if we're talking strictly second-rounders, I'm going to go with Miles Sanders. This has been a player that I've been advocating for the last couple of weeks, actually the last couple of months, since his hot finish at the end of last season when he took over the backfield role for the Philadelphia Eagles. So as hype as we are on him, and I'm not worried about injuries or anything, and then news breaks on Wednesday that he's going to be week to week with a lower body injury, but that is just something to monitor. This is why we draft closer to the start of the season. We've still got, a month ago or something like that. We've got plenty of time to see how this situation works out. And as long as he is ready to go in week one, Miles Sanders has the ability, especially in this offense, to be a top 5 running back, especially with all the injuries at the wide receiver position. I love getting Miles Sanders this season.
All right, so because we believe in equal time, we've talked about the good. Now we've got to talk about maybe the not so good. So, Kimmy, who is somebody that you're not all that fired up about in round 2?
Now, sadly, someone that I'm not so hype about this upcoming season in the second round is Joe Mixon. I'm excited for the Cincinnati Bengals. They now have Joe Burrow under center. But what does that mean for Joe Mixon? Well, people are excited about what that production could mean, but there's something that running backs really like. They, one, want to stay healthy, and two, they want to get paid and get that big contract. Now, there's already been conversations that this could be a potential holdout season for Joe Mixon. So with his stock that high, I don't quite know if I'm going to take a chance on it. This could be the season that you want to sit out because of concerns over COVID-19. So if this is a guy that you're targeting in the second round, and maybe someone you want to wait on, because hey, what is worse than drafting a guy and him holding out? Basically nothing. So that's just my thoughts. I think he's an incredible player, but I do have some concerns over if he will play or not.
Well, I've got some concerns about Leonard Fournette. Mostly, how can you like a running back that his own team doesn't seem to like? There's been nothing but talk this offseason about the Jaguars trying to move on from Fournette in one form or another. He had 100 targets last year. That seems nearly impossible now that the Jaguars have added Chris Thompson. They drafted Laviska Shenault. It seems like those guys will take a lot of those backfield targets that Fournette saw last season. So in other words, he's got to really make up for it in touchdown volume, and that's something that's been hard because his touchdown numbers have decreased each season he's been in the league.
You know, I'm going to be looking at Aaron Jones as a player that I'm going to avoid this season. Obviously, 19 touchdowns last year helped get you to a fantasy title, but there's a number of things that are working against him. As you see right there, his rushing yards per game were the fewest amongst top 5 running backs. Also, there is going to be some heavy regression, too. He is not going to score 19 touchdowns this season. He got a bulk of those touchdowns in games without Devontae Adams. He had about double-digit touchdowns in about 5 games, so I'm going to avoid this season.